At the beginning of the story, we see a girl named Sawyer who recently shifted from Boston to Pennsylvania and works there as a salesperson. Sawyer lives alone in an apartment and feels quite lonely in her life. While this wasn't the case before, but something happened to her after which she started living in depression and reduced meeting and interacting with people. However, she has one female friend who works in the same office, and she also keeps talking on the phone with her mother who lives in Boston. One night, Sawyer goes on a date with a boy. The two of them go to a bar, have drinks, and start talking. After this, Sawyer takes him to her apartment where the two of them start kissing each other. But then suddenly, Sawyer gets very scared and locks herself in the bathroom. Actually, for the past 2 years, a boy named David has been following her, who loves her very much, but Sawyer doesn't feel that way about him. David constantly harasses her, which causes Sawyer to mentally break down, and that's why she left Boston and moved to Pennsylvania, trying to make a new start. But the fear still doesn't leave her. Sometimes she feels that David is still watching her, which makes her panic, and the boy she brought home that night. Seeing him reminded her of David's face, so she got scared. Now Sawyer feels that she should talk to someone about her anxiety and trauma and get treatment. She searches online for a medical center and finds Highland Creek Behavioral Center. After this, Sawyer goes there and meets a doctor and tells her how David has been following her for 2 years. She says, "I've become so troubled by him that I stopped talking to everyone." But the doctor asks her, "Have you ever tried to harm yourself?" Sawyer replies, "Yes, I once tried to kill myself." She further says that she decided to shift to Pennsylvania to get rid of David's stalking. But even now she feels that David is watching her. She sometimes gets strange pain and restlessness, which troubles her a lot, and she openly talks to the doctor about her fear, panic, and stress. After listening to her, the doctor says you should come for some counseling sessions so you can openly share your thoughts. Sawyer feels good talking to the doctor. Then the doctor asks her to sign a form so that further counseling can be started, and Sawyer signs it without reading the form. After this, a nurse takes Sawyer to a room where her phone, purse, and other belongings are taken away. There's some tests are done on her, and she's asked to wear a mental patient's gown. Take this. Sawyer doesn't understand what's happening to her. She tells the nurse, "I only came for counseling. I need to leave from here." Then the nurse shows her the same form she had signed, which states that if any patient expresses thoughts of self-harm, they can be kept under observation for 24 hours. But Sawyer starts telling the nurse, "I'm fine. I need to go home." She calls the police from the telephone and says she's being kept here forcibly. But the nurse explains to her that police often get such calls. The nurse tells Sawyer, "Your mental condition is not good. You get such calls." The nurse tells Sawyer, "Your mental condition is not good. You can become a danger to yourself and others. That's why we're shifting you to the ward." After this, Sawyer is shifted to a mental ward where she meets two people, a girl and a boy whose name is Nate. The girl is quite strange and troubles Sawyer. She has a sharp knife-like thing hidden with her, which she shows trying to scare her, and says, "When you fall asleep, I'll secretly cut all your hair." Hearing this, Sawyer gets scared and tries to escape from there. She goes to open the door, but then a patient tries to touch her inappropriately. Getting angry, Sawyer hits him in the back with her knee. Hearing the sound of the fight, a staff member comes into the room, and as soon as Sawyer sees him, she thinks it's David. She panics, screams, and slaps him. Seeing this, the nurse thinks Sawyer is having a seizure, so they give her an injection and make her unconscious. Meanwhile, the police, whom Sawyer had called and told that she was being kept there forcibly, they come to Highland Creek Center. But there the staff shows the police the form that Sawyer had signed herself and say Sawyer is mentally unstable. That's why she's been kept here. The police also don't find anything abnormal there, so they leave. The next morning, Sawyer talks to the doctor. The doctor tells her that she had raised her hand on two people and your behavior is quite aggressive. That's why now she'll have to stay here for a week, and you'll be given medicine every day. But Sawyer says, I'm absolutely fine, let me go from here. But no one listens to her. After this, when Sawyer goes to take medicine with the other patients, seeing the person giving medicine, she feels this is David, but his ID card has someone else's name written on it. Still, Sawyer becomes completely convinced that this is David, who got a job at the center by creating a fake identity. She starts screaming, tries to tell everyone this is David, the one who's been following me for the past 2 years. But no one believes her words. Everyone thinks Sawyer's mental state is not good. The staff thinks she's saying this because of madness, because similar things are recorded in her records from before. That's why she's tied up in the ward and warned that if she behaves like this again, she'll be shifted to the basement. The next day, when Sawyer goes to take medicine again, David gives her an extra pill and also shows her a letter sent to her mother's address. Seeing this, Sawyer becomes completely convinced that he really is David, who has now reached here with a fake identity. Knowing this, she is shocked and scared. She understands that if David can come this far, he can do anything. But the sad thing is that no one still believes her words. The next day, Nate, who is quite sensible compared to the other patients, he's secretly talking to someone on the phone while hiding alone. Sawyer sees him doing this and threatens to tell the doctor about the phone, demanding to use it to talk to her mother. Hearing this, Nate gets scared and gives her the phone. Sawyer calls her mother and says, Mom, I came to Highland Creek Behavioral Center for counseling, but I've been kept here by deception. They think my mental condition is not good, but I'm absolutely fine. She further says, Mom, please forgive me. I hid something from you. There's a boy named David who's been following me for the past 2 years, and now he's come to the center as well. I'm very scared. No one here is helping me. Hearing all this, Sawyer's mother gets very worried and says, Don't worry, dear, I'll get you out of there. She immediately takes a car and reaches Highland Creek Behavioral Center and tells the doctor that I've come to take my daughter Sawyer. But there too, she's told that Sawyer's mental condition is not good. We are treating her. If she's discharged now, it could badly affect both her health and career. Sawyer's mother says, I want to meet Sawyer. The staff takes her to Sawyer and she talks to Sawyer. She promises that she'll put all her strength into getting her out soon. Meanwhile, Sawyer learns a shocking thing from Nate. Nate tells her that a very big insurance scam is going on at Highland Creek Behavioral Center, in which people who come here only for counseling are deceptively admitted in the name of mental observation. Then large amounts are collected from their insurance companies. The patient is kept inside as long as insurance money comes, and as soon as the patient's insurance money stops coming, they're allowed to leave the center. Nate says they don't care whether the patient is fine or not. They only treat for money, and only as long as the money comes. Sawyer learns that they'll be getting money from her insurance company for a week. That's why they'll release her only after a week. Nate tells Sawyer that I'll also leave from here next week because my insurance is about to end. After this, Sawyer tells Nate about herself. She says, I used to work taking care of David's sick father. David also lived with his father, but soon David's father died. But by then, David had become completely crazy about me. He used to tell me my father wanted me to marry you. But Sawyer used to ignore him, but David kept calling and messaging her. Sawyer blocked him. Still, David didn't stop. He went further and started sending flowers and even sneaked into Sawyer's house and left a blue dress. Seeing this, I understood that I had to get rid of David. That's why I filed a complaint against him with the police. The police officer told me I should be careful, but I knew David wouldn't leave me alone. That's why I left Boston and came to Pennsylvania, and now David has reached here following me with a fake identity. Hearing all this, Nate can't believe whether Sawyer is telling the truth or lying, because he had seen Sawyer fighting and calling other patients David. Meanwhile, Sawyer's mother goes to the police, talks to a lawyer, but they have no evidence against Highland Creek Behavioral Center that Sawyer was forcibly detained because she had signed the form. Sawyer's mother comes tired to her hotel. Then a maintenance man comes into the hotel room, and this is none other than David, who kills her mother. Meanwhile, Sawyer and Nate have become good friends. The two of them are talking while laughing and joking, but David is watching all this from another room. He doesn't like this thing and feels jealous inside. Sometime later, when Nate is alone in the bathroom, David attacks him and catches him and takes him to the basement. There he tortures Nate badly and then kills him. Then he clicks photos and sends pictures to Nate's phone. When Sawyer sees Nate's picture on the phone, she starts screaming and says David has killed Nate. But the staff doesn't believe her words and snatches the phone from her. Sawyer becomes quite aggressive, so she's shifted to the basement, which makes David very happy because in the basement he'll get a chance to talk to Sawyer. Sometime later, David comes to meet Sawyer. He's still completely in a crazy mental state. He thinks he still has a chance that Sawyer will accept his love. David tells her, "I love you very much. I want you to come with me. I've built a cabin where we both will live happily together. First thing about me." David further says, "I know you're not happy in your life, but I'll give you all the happiness." Sawyer says angrily, "My condition is like this because of you. Even after seeing all this, you don't understand that I don't love you." She starts saying, "You're crazy. If a girl refuses, you should find another girl, but you're after me." She puts David down, taunts him, which makes David cry, and he leaves from there. Meanwhile, a woman is jogging in the park with her dog. Then she sees a human hand buried in the soil. She gets scared and calls the police. The police come there, and during investigation, they find out that it's a dead body, and this body is of the same man whom David killed and took his place at the center. Here David comes to Sawyer again. He wasn't going to leave Sawyer so easily, and Sawyer now completely understands this. Sawyer had to escape from here, but David won't let her go. That's why she starts manipulating David and says, "If you love her, then bring that girl who was troubling me." David, following her words, brings that girl to the basement. Then Sawyer tells David to get close to that girl. As soon as David follows her words and moves forward, Sawyer stops him. She takes the knife-like thing hidden near that girl and stabs it into David's neck and runs away from there. David understands that Sawyer has deceived him. That's why in anger he kills that girl and sets out to catch Sawyer. Sawyer manages to escape from the center but can't go very far. David catches her, beats her, and makes her unconscious. When Sawyer regains consciousness, she finds herself locked in a car trunk, and David is taking her with him. Sawyer sees her mother's dead body in the trunk, seeing which she cries, but composes herself and somehow manages to open the car trunk and successfully escapes into the forest. But David sees her and stops the car, and chasing her goes into the forest, and soon David catches Sawyer in the forest and strikes her leg with a hammer, which makes her unconscious again. Then he lies down next to her and tries to talk lovingly. When Sawyer regains consciousness, she strikes David in the eye with a knife and then cuts his throat and kills him. Meanwhile, the police reach Highland Creek Behavioral Center and check about the person whose dead body was found. Many reporters also come there. Here we learn that Nate was an insider member of a news team who was gathering evidence to expose the insurance scam and irregularities going on at the center. But he couldn't bring the scam out before that David killed him. Here, during investigation, the police find evidence of the insurance scam running at the center, and the center's owner and doctor are arrested. Actually, Sawyer wasn't really crazy, but was struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. Because of David's stalking, a deep fear and insecurity had settled inside her. When she was forcibly kept in the hospital and her words were repeatedly ignored, she slowly started breaking down mentally. 6 months later, we see Sawyer, who is starting her life in a new way. She has gotten a promotion at work, but Sawyer keeps missing her mother. After this, Sawyer is sitting with her friend in a restaurant. She suddenly gets scared seeing a man because that man looked like David to her. She understands that even though David is dead, She can never be completely free from his influence because David is still alive in her mind. With this, the movie ends. Friends, if you were in Sawyer's place and you were locked up in a hospital, what would you do? Do write your opinion on this in the comment section. If you liked the video, then like and share and subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss the upcoming videos. See you in the next video.